Turn around, bro.
It's Grow TV, where we grow together and learn about God.
I'm Stacy. You might be wondering about these. I'm actually wondering myself. I know they're gloves, but what kind? I tried gardening in them, no good. I can't hold anything. I thought they might be baseball gloves, but I can't catch anything. I tried using them as oven mitts, and I cannot even tell you how many pans of cookies were ruined. I know what these are. These are boxing gloves. They're for punching. I had an uncle who was a boxer. He used to invite my mom to sit in his corner during boxing matches. I guess she had a knack for developing a winning game plan. She would watch the other boxer to see things that they were doing, see if they had tendencies. Like if the other boxer kept dipping their guard hand down before their chin when they threw a jab. Then BAM! KO! That means knockout.
Hey, Stacy. Whoa. I come in peace.
Oh, I was just talking about my uncle who used to be a boxer.
A boxer? Is that like a dog?
No, not exactly. What I'm talking about, a boxer who boxes in boxing matches.
Oh.
But my uncle had one big problem. Not a problem, more like a quirk. This weird thing he did after every match.
What was that?
He always took it too personally. After every punch, he'd ask the other boxers forgiveness.
Did they forgive him?
Not usually. Even if they did, it was hard for him to believe. I mean, how can you forgive me for punching you? And I'm probably gonna do it again. It was a whole thing. Didn't make for a good boxing match.
I guess not. But you know, people have been forgiven for much more.
Oh yeah? Like what?
So in 2 Samuel 11 and 12, King David.
Of course it's about David. He was such a nice guy. Who did he forgive this time?
Oh no, this is a story about a time David needed forgiveness. Big time. David KO'd a guy named Uriah permanently because he wanted to marry his wife, Bathsheba.
Whoa, that's worse than a punch in the face.
Told you. So, because he was the king, he was in charge of Israel's army. He made a plan to send Uriah to the front lines of the battlefield where it was most dangerous.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes. David was almost positive that Uriah would be killed, and he was right. David thought when Uriah was dead, his troubles would be over, but as you can imagine, he was wrong. God sent a man named Nathan to David. Nathan told David a story about a very rich man who stole a lamb from a very poor man. After the story, it says in 2 Samuel 12, verse 5 through 6, David burned with anger against the man and said to Nathan, "As surely as the Lord lives, that man who did this must die. He must pay for that lamb 4 times over because he did such a thing and had no pity."
I could see where this is going. David is lowering his left hand and he's about to take a hook to the chin.
I guess something like that. Nathan told David that he was that man. Then he explained that God knew exactly what David had done to Uriah.
BAM! KO! That means knockout.
I know. Because of what David had done, there were big time consequences for him and his family. But David felt awful and said in verse 12-13, "I have sinned against the Lord." But Nathan let David know that the Lord had taken away his sin. What David had done was awful. No getting around that. But even with such terrible behavior, God knew David was truly sorry for what he did. There would still be consequences, but God didn't hold things against David. And God doesn't hold it against any of us either. When we ask for it, forgiveness is always God's game plan.
My uncle's boxing career would have been different if he heard that story.
Maybe. That kind of forgiveness should change things for all of us, both to receive it and both to give it. happy boxing.
My uncle's boxing career is a pretty wild example. But getting and giving the kind of forgiveness in the Bible story is a real game changer. Think of the things you've held against others and how it made you feel to hold on to that stuff, and how good it would feel to let it go. God gives us the opportunity to forgive without holding on to what the other person has done. And we've all made big mistakes where we've lowered our guard and let something into our lives that shouldn't be there. This Bible story is a great example of God's forgiveness and just how far it can reach. We just have to ask for it, and we will be forgiven, because forgiveness is always God's game plan. Always. It's been fun fake boxing with you and learning stuff with you. It's always fun to grow together. See you next time. Bye. KO.